Scapino.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Shakespearean Shrew. I am your Shakespearean Shrew, Karen Biner, lover of all things bard. This podcast is a decorum be damned entrance into the understandings of Shakespearean stage and the many players on it. We are at OSP in the Paseo and at the Mermaid Tavern. Who knew? With some of our amazing actors from Merry Wives, which opens very soon, June 5th. So we're very excited about that. So we are with Lucas Schrantz.
Hello.
Our gentle German over here.
Yes.
Denton Meehan.
Hello.
And Jimmy Pike.
Yeah,
quite simple.
Running joke.
Jimmy
Anyway, but you've seen him here before. These are some of our favorite faces here, and we're talking about how do I say this? We're talking about small parts that pack a big punch.
I like that. I like that.
They described me like that in high school. That's exactly. Whoa.
Okay, so Jimmy, you're the only one of the group that is actually playing one part for the show.
Yeah, thank God.
But you have been in many previous performances. Had to have one of those, everybody. You've been in many previous performances where you have played a role.
Yes.
So you can definitely add to that conversation as we talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
As you can tell, obviously he's very excited to only have his one role this time
It's
around.
not bad, Karen.
It's the one costume.
Yeah, just do my thing. I just keep my same pants on the whole show.
So you were playing Sir Hugh Evans.
Yes.
Right? And then Lucas, you are playing 3 different parts, right?
Yes.
Who are your 3?
I'm Slender and host of the Garter, and then a servant, just in and out.
Which literally we get to see entrances and exits.
Mhm.
They're fabulous. And so Denton, you are 2 or 3?
Just 2.
Just 2. Okay. And your 2 are?
Bardolph and Dr. Caius.
Excellent. Okay. So thinking about playing multiple roles, running off, playing a different part, what are things that you have to, other than changing your pants, think about as you're playing these different parts?
For me, the biggest thing is physicality. Every single character feels different, even in the body of an actor, because everyone moves their own way, depending on how either their life has been or whatever like that. So for me, it's kind of, how does Slender in the show, how does he walk and how does he hold, which is a lot like very up close and tight a lot. You know, he's a very anxious, nervous little guy. But like host of the Garter owns the Garter Inn and knows everybody and is this big, broad character. So my biggest thing with him was like having Slender being so in and tight, but then the host is so large and big that every even motion is huge compared to that. So for me, it's the physicality that I kind of can breathe into backstage or as I'm kind of walking on.
Nice. Any other things you think about? I know you have a very distinct accent
Yes,
from one of your parts to another.
I have a unique issue where Dr. Caius is such a specific, like, he's this French guy and he's got all this kind of like fun broadness, and then Bardolph is in like 2 C's. And I'm on stage a lot, but I'm only like with Falstaff twice. So it was really difficult, like, what do I do? There's not a lot about him because he gets kicked off pretty quick. So physicality, sometimes I don't even know a character. I'm like sitting backstage and I'm like, I'm about to make an entrance and I don't even know which character I'm supposed to be. I'm like, what scene is this? Is this, and then I just go and I'm like, oh, okay, right, yeah, I'm Bardolph. But physicality is, I think, the big thing, especially Bardolph doesn't talk a lot. I do a lot of transitions. So it's about like, how can I move to convey that I am someone else besides just, oh, I look different?
Yeah, I think, and that's a really big thing because, I brought my partner here for Midsummer, and after the show, he goes, so I can't figure out why the characters kept changing costumes. And I was like, because they were different. They were fairies and they were mechanicals. And I was just like, oh no.
You really failed.
Yeah, review.
The suspension of disbelief. It is belief.
But it was really funny because I was like, oh man, we're going to have to do more than change a hat for this one. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that what you're talking about, the physicality, the accents, all of that really help distinguish one character from the next. Because your character is like, the way you present one to the other, you're just like, wow, there's no way to mix those two up.
I have to, it's got to be two sides of the same coin. I have to be so different. And Chris actually helped a lot. We've been working on different voices, and I've changed, I think, my voice like 4 different times throughout this process because of things that me and Chris have talked about. I'm pretty set now. We're opening soon, so I'm pretty settled.
Tighten it down, Lucas.
Just smoothing it out now. But it was something that we worked with a lot, and that's something I've really tried to hone as one of my skills as an actor, is having very distinct voices that can show, even if you just hear me from off stage, you're like, I know who that is. That's got to be the biggest thing, is even if I don't have a line, or even if I have just line off stage, I need people in the audience to go, oh, that's the host, or oh, that's Slender. Because there's times where I walk on for a scene change and there's like a whole funny bit because I play 2 characters, but if I don't exude one or the other, it's kind of like, that was so funny. It's the same guy. Like, there's nothing goes with it unless
Why do you take his vest off?
Yeah.
Why do you keep changing costumes?
Exactly. That's where that physicality and voice really comes in. Yeah.
And when we started this show, Chris, our director,
Shout out.
Chris,
Shout out Chris Cousins.
It's a cool guy. One of his main things that he told us to focus on was like the Muppet Show. And so coming in, he's telling us, don't worry about accurate. And we're like, oh, well, thanks for that. And what does that even mean? But you had the leeway and you had the runway to like try the dumbest sounding thing you'd ever had ever come out of your mouth, which I think we both did. And I was never told to dial it back. So here we are. We open in 3 days, and I sound like a maniac to myself. So I don't know, but I think it works.
Embrace it. Keep going. So with that, with the Muppetry and the vaudeville, one of the other aspects that I couldn't help notice, which is why I wanted so badly to talk to you all, is how much physicality is in this production and how much specifically you all bring to that. Sometimes you're on stage, and again, they're not necessarily the biggest parts, but they're some of the most memorable because we're watching, even with everything going on, we're watching you all. We're watching the actions that are taking place. It's big, and you're coming down the center of the green, with your French accent, throwing your rapier around, ready to fight, and we're like, okay, like it's when you're playing the servant, which is one of your really small roles, which you might have a line.
It's 2 scenes, 2 lines, and he
nails them.
It's the best.
And the physicality of those scenes is so funny and so over the top, right? And I think that's what makes your one character, that aspect of it, your over the topness for you, Jimmy. Again, for all 3 of you, it's such a big part of this one. And I think that's partially because Chris was like, up the stakes, let's go to that next level.
And we're doing a sitcom.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he spoke a lot to me specifically when it came to the servant stuff. He was like 3 Stooges and like the old, like Charlie Chaplin, like old vaudeville silent film. Like he was like, I really want you guys to be very like direct and distinct with your movements when it comes to the comedy, because he wants it to feel sharp. He wants it to be that vaudeville.
Like, it's not funny unless every muscle is twitched in your entire body.
Yes,
like
exactly.
The scene where they're conveying how heavy something is maybe the funniest physical comedy we have in the show.
And it's loud. Like it's again, silent. There's not words, but it's so big and so loud as a presence, which I thought was just really fun.
We're going to have to stop the dialogue for laughter when they're already off
Probably.
stage halfway up the aisle. We're gonna have to hold and just like watch these clowns take all of our laughs.
And that's the best part about a small role. It's like if your director says use it, we want people to still be looking at you. Then you're like, okay, cool. I will do my best to steal this scene from the people who are actually in it. You can't do that all the time. There are, sometimes a small role is really please be quiet and stand in the back. We love what you're doing. But we were told specifically, like, you are going to be stealing the scene.
Yeah.
Do these things and we're going to make sure you have your moment and your light. That's why it's great that we're leaving through our little aisle in the middle and the scene's up on stage, but we're going to be catching the whole audience as we're going up. So we're going to be taking them one by one.
Yeah, all of them.
They're not going to be watching us.
With the physical comedy, something that I found in my track, this one guy, if you haven't heard, I just play one guy, is that he's kind of a reserved, he's a parson or whatever. And there's not a lot of physical things I'm doing in my performance, but in the one scene where I have to toughen up and put on a strong face, like I'm trying to give it everything I've got to juxtapose that, and it's the same character, but you can see maybe some depth where, like, put on the strong face or whatever. But it's a lot of fun, and it's definitely exhausting.
It's a big roller coaster in that scene.
Yeah.
There's one specific scene of Evans and Caius, and it is a roller coaster.
Showdown, baby.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what helps with playing such a small character,
Mm-hmm.
is that you have tons of energy, because you spend a lot of time just backstage, but then when you come on, it's like,
Yeah.
boom! Yeah!
you can just like pile it on, and you go and you rest, and you go on to your next scene, and it's like, boom!
Yeah, Denton and I played Mechanicals last summer in Midsummer, and that's exactly what those roles are. Well, you might play other roles in the show, but when you come on as those, you know exactly what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You are the Flying Circus or Three Stooges or whatever the example is.
I have to admit, the Mechanicals are my favorite.
Absolutely.
They are. They're the best subplot, which is like not a subplot. It's like 3 plots in Midsummer, and Mechanicals are the best one. Easily.
You could say it's the main plot because the whole show is centered around the wedding of yada yada, and they are the performers at this wedding. The rest of the people are just guests.
Yeah. No, I was Lysander, and it was like I was waiting for the mechanical scenes. I was very tired. I was running
I can't imagine
so much. Our fight scene was on both levels of the stage, and we were running around. But all I was thinking about was, like, I get to sit at the end of this show, and I just get to watch the mechanicals, and it is my favorite part. Whenever we did rehearsals, I never saw it. I never was in a rehearsal where they did that scene fully. So I had no idea what was going to happen every night.
That's kind of cool.
And I loved that because I was just waiting for them, because I knew with like Denton is Thisbe, Jimmy was the Wall, and every night was something new. And I was just, I actually got to be an audience member, which was so fun.
Everyone's reminiscing. So with this production, you mentioned the exhaustion that comes with some of it. You mentioned the rest you get as you're on stage. So doing these kinds of productions where there is so much physicality, outdoors in Oklahoma.
Right. In the summertime,
in
Karen.
the summertime.
Of course.
Summertime.
So with those elements in mind, what are some of the things that you prepare for, that you think about as you get ready for, you've already been in rehearsals almost,
4 weeks.
Pretty much daily. Yeah,
Daily.
It was 6 days a week. Yeah.
and then you're getting ready for shows, which will be Thursday through Sunday. So what are some of the things that you do to prepare yourself for that? Because it must get tiring after a while.
You have to start drinking water 48 hours before you're about to go on
Yep.
stage. And or like the other night, I was drained. I was physically drained. I spent too much time outside before. So that's the most important thing to outdoor theater, other than learning your lines.
Oh yeah.
All of that other stuff is
Lines.
you will pass out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we are not wearing white linen flowing costume.
No, this
we were
suits.
wearing 1920s period specific wool suits.
Oh man, and I was like in my brain for some reason with like 1920s vaudeville, I was like, oh, like at least it's not like Shakespearean clothing, like it's not.
And it's still.
I like the way your brain thinks.
Yeah, right?
But our wonderful costumer Jason, he wanted a little more period specific.
In wonderful costumes.
We look great.
We look
I
great.
love
We
the
look
costume. But a 3-piece wool suit
Yeah.
outside.
I mean, at least you're not in a fat suit.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Shout out Lance.
Lance is doing the Lord's work in that suit.
Lance climbed out of a coal mine last night when he got out of the costume.
Yeah.
He was like,
He's got ice. He's got ice
Oh,
packs
man.
in the suit, which is helpful. But I mean, I've been back in the dressing room helping him pull it on and pull it off because it is a lot.
Oh my god.
And but definitely hydration for sure. I mean, we normally have like either like liquid IV or electrolyte packets or something. We pop over to Samir's and get a Gatorade or something because we are dying out there, which is, I mean, that's outdoor theater, especially Oklahoma.
yeah.
But hydration's number one, but honestly, number two is like the day of the show. What are you doing before? You know, because I mean, sometimes you have work before and you're standing the whole time and you got a 1 to 2 hour break. Flop down, lay down for 2 hours at least because you know you're going to use all of it up that night.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I forgot what I was going to say.
Thank you, Denton.
I also, when you get here, do not rush to get into costume.
No, take your time.
I have always been an actor that like, I'm here, I want to get ready, and I want to, I want to get in it.
Oh, no.
And last summer, that's how I started. And by the final week, I was like, I put on my T-shirt for mic check, and that was it.
Yeah, I think I went to mic check once in my pants and suspenders, and that was it. I walked out there in socks, pants, and suspenders because I was like, there is no way you're getting me to put a shirt on yet.
Yeah, and these shirts specifically they're also very warm.
Mhm.
So now it's bare minimum I need
Exactly.
to do a check.
I'm clothed during mic check.
Right.
Do not get me wrong. I am clothed. But
I thought we were making a different kind of statement.
yeah, no. Different kind of a silent vaudeville. No, not that. Not that.
Was that fan dances around that time?
Mhm,
Those were fan
mhm.
We
dances.
can get some
No.
fans.
Yeah. We can do some can, I think, right?
I can.
I'm sure you can.
Can you do the can, Jimmy?
So with the physicality, with the heat, with all of that, the other part of this production that's a big element is the audience interaction.
Mm.
That is another huge part. And with your roles, a lot of that falls to you all, which was great. For, like, I got to come to one of the rehearsals and I was like, yeah, like, let's interact. This is great. But so interactions with audiences can be really fun. I think it can also go awry at times and not go so well. So do you have any examples of times that it's gone amazingly and things have happened and you've had some great interactions with an audience member, or any times where it's gone awry?
Well, our Christmas show, Jane Austen's Christmas Cracker, is all audience interaction. And I think every single show we did this last Christmas went as good as it could have gone.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was willing. If you stood there and you looked pathetic asking for a dance partner, 5 seconds tops, somebody would I feel bad for that guy. I'll dance with you, Colonel Brendan. But I don't know. Usually in Shakespeare, I have like plot-driven lines. And this time around, half my lines are just reacting to something. And so I'm taking all of them to the audience. And so we were talking before, last night's rehearsal, we were giving it our best to nothing, getting no laughs from none of the crew. They've heard it enough times. They're done with it. They just want it to get perfect and that we can all move on. But I can't wait for an audience to show up for the validation of like, I'm giving gold to a patch of grass right now that this weekend someone's grandma's going to be sitting there and I'm going to make her laugh. I can't wait for that.
In college, I did a show at OU. It was it was one where a lot of times went really well, and some other times you get a lot of yelling and other things that aren't really good for the scene. But the fun thing is, though that veil, because that like curtain is gone, you can just look at the audience and be like, oh, no, it's okay. You're good. I'm good. Thank you. And it's fine. You do that in character and they get it and they keep going because they understand, though, it is also a show that they came to see, and you got to keep it going at some point. But my favorite interaction is anytime I've done interactive tours with OSP. I've done some with Lyric, where with children, and you bring them on stage. And some of the most heartwarming moments, you know, some of the best moments of all time. There's also sometimes you get a kid on stage, they look at you and they go, what am I doing? And you're like, oh, just stand there, you hold the sign, it's so cute, it'll be fun. And they go, I don't want to do this anymore. And you go, okay, I'll help you back down. And it's just, sometimes that happens in the middle of a song, and you just have to, yeah, okay, let's go. And you just take them on down. It's all right. So, but thankfully I've had really good moments most of the time. I think if you're coming to a show like this, you know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You have the most, though, Denton, in the show, I think.
I've tried to talk to, because Chris was like, you know, if there's anything that you can like throw to the audience, do that, because that's very Shakespearean,
yes.
And they are very much a part of the show. And so many of my lines, I was really annoyed when I was reading through it, would be like, I'm going to say this thing, and then I'm going to say the same thing again. Mm-hmm. And I'd be like, I hate these lines, because I feel like I'm just repeating myself a lot. I was like, I'll just say it to the audience.
There you go.
Mostly I'm saying it to grass at this point.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Grass on the ground.
But I really think an unresponsive audience, I don't think is the worst you can get. I think overly responsive audience, one that can become detrimental, is my fear.
Oh.
Well, giving lines to the audience is one thing, but asking them to participate is like a whole other can of worms that I don't even want to be involved in.
Yeah, I'm a little worried.
This ain't an improv show.
Yeah, which those also do go.
Christmas Carol was just like that, though.
Yeah, I know, but everybody's in the holiday spirit. Nobody's being malicious about anything. We had a good time.
Got their eggnog.
Yeah, their ice cream included with purchase of a ticket. Sponsored by Brahms every single Christmas.
And for the video as well, sponsored by Brahms.
I mean, the nice thing is that we do have libations for all of the audience members.
Warm them up.
And it
loosens
it does. They're loose.
They're loose. Especially
they're ready to play.
Get them ready for some audience engagement, you know, which again, I guess could go awry.
Yeah. I think, though, there's a lot of moments in the show where we actually have characters in the audience.
Yeah.
Like they go in and talk to them specifically. And sometimes, like, I think Denton has a whole thing with one, and it's like we have to cut him off because it's a lot of fun. I'm not going to spoil too much. But there's moments where, like, even Lance and Belle, who's in the show, and Jimmy, we're in the audience with them. So it's not just talking. We're actually going to be interacting specifically. Like the audience is there for us. We see every single one of them.
Mm-hmm. And then we involve them. We bring them on stage at some point, and two of them have to stick around and be involved in the final scene, which is pretty fun. And I get to pick the people, and they have to do the scene.
It gets them. So, it's our problem that Jimmy created.
Yes, exactly.
I can't wait, actually. Find the 6'5" MMA fighter, and that's going to be
and that's
guy
mine. That's for me. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yes. And just a quote that Chris told us at one point was, I think it was someone talking about the was it the Globe stage, I think, because that one's all outdoors with an open roof, no lights. And a quote that he was telling us constantly was that the same light that's on the actors is the same light that's on the audience. And he wanted us to really make it feel like this show is not a show on stage and that's it. He wanted us to know that the audience is also in the same light we are, and to use them. Yeah. And so that was really helpful when we were working through stuff and finding out stuff we could do.
Well, it was really fun because when Michelle and I went, you didn't have any other options, so we got chosen.
Yep.
Slim pickings.
Mhm.
And we got to go up on stage as as fairies at one point and frolic. Which I'm gonna say, like, frolicking for even that short amount of time, I was like,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, man.
Yeah, put on 20 pounds of wool. And it's a good time.
And then we got to play the next part because, again, there was only the two of us. Like, choices were limited. And I had one word. Didn't even have a line. I had one word, and I flubbed it, which was hilarious.
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
I don't think.
He was like, okay, I'm going to say this, and then you're going to give me this word. And I was like, cool, easy, got it. Then we get up there, and he's talking, and he looks at me, and I was like, I feel like I'm supposed to say it.
And I was like, oh, one moment. I have one more line, and then I will say. It was perfect. It was great.
It was so funny. I had Tourette's or something.
And that's backstage because we've been doing it with some members of like college students or old students of teachers in the show that have helped us out. And what I literally tell them backstage is I'm like, you have one word to say. I'm going to say it, this, then I'm going to gesture and you say it. And I say it however you want. Say it however you want to say it at all. I don't care. However, if you break people on stage, extra points. And that's what I tell them. So that's what we go out with. And I'm like, you do that. I know what you're going to say, so it's okay. But if you can break someone on stage, perfect.
Well, now the jig is up. Now I'm ready for it.
I'm learning you're much better at talking to the audience than I am.
Ben's like, good luck out there.
I'm like, follow me and stand next to me when we're up there.
Don't get ahead of me when I start talking. It's my stage.
It's talk, then we go back. Okay, she's about to talk.
Yeah, that's
She's getting ready.
that was all. I was like, yep. All right, let's go.
That
Just
was
wing
the
it. Go
other-
have fun.
Yeah.
That was the other fun thing because we got, the two that get chosen, if you end up being the chosen one, you're backstage for a little bit. You were just chilling. Like, you get the whole, okay, now we wait. And it's so listening to you all listen and watching you all being like, what are they saying? Like, I was like, oh, I'm having flashbacks. Because sometimes you really can't hear and you're waiting for them to say one certain thing and you're just like, everybody's laughing or things are happening and you're like, what are they saying?
Well, we added microphones the other day,
Oh,
so
nice.
it got
Thanks.
a lot easier to hear
Yes.
your cue line backstage.
That's, yeah. That's,
I
we
think
didn't have mics on this.
the fun part we're going to find out is we've had people that we've been using like you and the students is they're theater people.
Yeah.
So they are like, I know I'm standing on stage and I'm on a stage and I've done this before.
Right.
Now, when this show opens, Jimmy's going to probably pick someone that probably has never even seen a play or touched the stage in their life. And so the backstage part is probably it's gonna be a little weird, but that's why we're glad we've been working with them in order to make them feel as comfortable as they can.
Yeah, and you do a great job of explaining. Both of you do. I didn't get your explanation. Apparently, it was brilliant, but
I've gotten better.
but it was very easy to follow the instructions. So you're just gonna look for like the person who. Or the people who.
I mean,
who look
we're
most
going to try to
likely.
grab like 4 people from the audience. And
So you the choice.
the
of
joke
2
is
from the 4.
funnier because they both say, I was supposed to get a girl and I got a boy. And so if I can find a man twice my size, I am picking him. If there's 2 of them, we have got a show on our hands.
Hey, Nathan's gonna be there. Just saying.
Perfect. Yeah. Pick the biggest guys.
Oh yeah,
Because that's a funny joke.
it is. The bearded.
Yeah.
I really thought it was Ann Page, who is Belle's like 5'7", 5'8", and I was like, this is Ann Page. I can tell.
6'5".
Well, it's nice when you guys were there. We didn't have the masks, so we just had to go on and like pick someone. What happens in the show is that they have like colored masks So our job is just to find the person, which is way less stressful.
Yes.
We found out last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
You're
you
like-
pop on stage and it's a 7-foot guy. Oh no!
It's an
I can tell
NBA
we're
player, and
here.
we're just like, yep.
But we are telling the two that get the masks specifically. Dr. Caius is going to grab you, and Slender is going to get you.
Mhm.
And then they'll be like, "Which characters are those?"
I was gonna say, I was like, be ready to give them costume
Mhm.
pointers.
Yes, exactly.
The one with the French accent.
Yeah, the French one will get you.
And the one who's always like, ooh, no, that's Slender. Yeah,
The
yeah.
skinniest man you've ever seen, and the whitest man you've ever seen. It's like a little duo.
Well, it's every comedy
Yeah.
duo, you know?
That's comedy, dude.
It's you know, Penn and Teller.
Oh my gosh. So what is your favorite part for each of you of this particular performance? Is there one part that really sticks out for you as a favorite part?
I mean, the Caius and Evans scene is a
that's-
very fun scene. I think, honestly, it's any scene with Caius is usually going to be a good time with the outrageous Frenchness that is being exuded.
Mm-hmm.
It's like learning my lines. I've never found learning lines difficult, but learning the Caius lines, which are written in an accent,
Mhm.
and an accent. I don't think Shakespeare's ever heard of.
Yeah, I don't think it's French
It's
pronunciation.
not French. It's like German and Italian. Like
Yeah.
had a baby.
Yeah,
So it was the French accent was like an obstacle course to try and get through.
Well, it's also interesting because you have to think about how the accents have changed. Because at the time, what we think of as like the British accent was not what they sounded like at all. And every different like community and county in England sounded completely different.
Right.
Like they wouldn't be able to understand each other from one county to the next because they pronounce words so differently. So I'm really intrigued with that because if you did talk to a Frenchman, I mean, who knows where that individual was from and what it sounded like at the time. So that actually might be more accurate to that province, that French. But what we know now is just a completely different.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's over. It's great.
Which is like it's like people who are like, oh, this is a different language. My students, we read Shakespeare and they're like, this isn't English. I'm like, no, but it is. It is.
It's just old and it's just a little
It's
older.
just early modern. It's
Yes.
not even, Old English is like German.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're in early modern French, which is
Difficult because the French accent. Luckily, I learned it in a dialect class. If I hadn't, there was no way I could pull out.
I mean,
French
you do
accent.
pull it off very well.
Thank you. That was my dialect teacher. Just to thank for that.
Mazel.
Thank you, Chasley. But it was already. It's such a difficult dialect because it's so. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like in the front and in the back of your mouth. So it's like this constant tug of war, and then on top of that, it's written in such a hard way. It was so difficult to get through. But now it's like. Now I feel like I can play with it a little more, and because it's written so weird, I feel like I have a little more leeway in how I like pronounce my lines and how French I want to go. There's some lines where I'm like really up in the French. And there's ones I'm like, I just want you to understand me.
Yeah.
You just need. This is plot. Here's plot for you.
And it is because this play is predominantly prose. The most of his plays.
Is there even?
I was gonna say, I
There's
think
like
it's like
one thing in verse.
When we Fenton speaks in verse, and then Quickly and I speak in verse at Hearns Oak.
Yes.
yes,
as
and the
brief
rest
as-
of it
Yeah,
is prose.
I have no
ever so briefly.
all pros
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah, it's all prose for me. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
And there are times where it almost sounds like it got modernized. Like there were moments where I was like, is that? I had to go back and be like, is that actually what it says in the play? Because it's so it's not what we think of when we think of Shakespearean language.
Yeah.
Right? We think of his verse. We think of, the rhythm of it. and we talked about it a little bit in the last podcast, like if that's part of the reason why it's underplayed.
Yeah, I think one thing is Merry Wives is kind of an inside joke that Shakespeare wrote for very specific people. So there's a lot of jokes that are kind of seem out of place, but Chris has done a great job cutting our show and actually writing it very well to make it flow beautifully. But that's the thing, though, is Merry Wives just doesn't, as you were saying, it doesn't feel like a Shakespeare show at all. But I think that's what a really good appeal of it is. So that's why I'm confused why it's not done more.
Yes.
And also, it's a pure comedy.
Yeah.
There is no drama unless it's over the top drama that makes it comedic. Like there's nothing.
All the drama, someone's in on it as a joke.
Yeah.
Every bit of stakes in the show is a bit that someone's pulling on someone else,
Right.
which is fun.
It's got the least dark underbelly
Yeah.
of any of Shakespeare's comedies. And the happiest ending of any of Shakespeare's comedies.
Everyone forgives each other,
Yeah.
and they all go and have dinner. Like, it's great. Because I was thinking about it, where last summer we did, or 2 summers ago, we did Much Ado About Nothing.
Talk about darkness.
Yeah, and that was the thing, is it's labeled a comedy. That is a Shakespearean comedy, and it is a very funny show, but halfway through, there is a whole mishap of not knowing something, and then a lot of anger, and you think someone dies, and there's revenge now. And comparing that to this one it's like, that's not even a comedy compared to this. This is so much farther than that.
Right, and then like the rage at the suspected affair that was being had, and then the death, and then the revenge, and then the reconciliation, where you're like, wait, so you had to fake dead in order to get through this, but we're cool now, and you're gonna marry that.
Yeah.
Wait.
That's how simple life can be.
Why do I have to complicate things?
And then in this show, Ford thinks his wife is having an affair, has a whole thing about being so angry, but then his wife's just like, we're doing it as a joke. And he's like, that's funny. I'll join with the joke now. And then it's just like, that's how it goes.
Yes. She's like, I'm going to mess with you for a little bit. And then, let you in on the plot, and all's good.
Yeah.
Let's go. This was much more, Much Ado. Like, this is.
Yeah, this really is about nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas like Much Ado About Nothing, not nothing.
No, it's about a lot.
Well, I think what makes this show Shakespearean is that it's really convoluted.
Yeah.
Complicated. The plot is so simple, but it's as complicated as it could possibly be.
There's like 3 plot lines that aren't in our production.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
That's
Like,
true.
too much.
Part of it.
We have 12 actors, and half of them are playing 3 people. And we got to shorten it down a little bit.
Yeah.
And
It's
that's
one
what
of the
makes it-
biggest casts.
Yeah, I mean, there's servants and there's named characters that aren't in our production.
Mm-hmm. And the fun thing is, we say so many lines in the show that are like, and now here's the plan. And then it's like the Ocean's 11, like going through it. It's like, I'm going to be here and you're going to be over here making this and setting it up. But actually they're here and they're going to be double crossing that one. And it's like, we have so many lines in the show where I think Fenton's got a whole big monologue just explaining what's going to happen.
What you're going to see at Hearn's Oak. And it's a preview.
Don't worry, because they'll do it again.
Yes, and then they'll explain it again.
This is what we're going to do.
And then afterwards, this is what we did.
And so if you're backstage during it, don't worry, you've already heard it explained on stage, so you know what's happening. You really didn't, you only got to miss it played out. But yeah, it's just a fun show that I think is especially good for people who are not familiar with Shakespeare, as a way to get more familiar with the language, the convoluted plot lines where everybody's messing with everybody else. And so I'm hoping that this will be an opportunity for a lot of people in the OKC area to come check it out, to see a production that maybe they're not going to be as scared of. It's not as big of a name as, Romeo and Juliet.
Entry level.
This is entry level Shakespeare.
But I think it's a show everyone should see at one point, because it is like, this is one that I've talked to a lot of people who like also are Shakespearean actors or do other acting, where this was one of the first ones they read.
Yeah.
Because it was an easy read for them, and seeing it is like it really is like, baby's first Shakespeare. It's perfect. It's so great for that.
It's just a lot of in your face comedy, a lot of dick jokes, but parents, don't worry, your kids will never see it coming if they don't know.
Nope. Most of it will go over
It's
their
like
head.
the Disney style jokes, right?
Yeah.
Where like the parents get it, the kids don't. Cool, great. They'll get it like 10 years down the road.
It goes
Exactly.
over our heads sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Someone's like, that's a dick joke. They're like, no.
Yeah.
What?
15th time you've heard it, you're like,
What?
you're right.
Oh my god.
Oh my God.
Why? Whoa.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Insert eggplant emoji here.
One of my old teachers described the show as it's a body humor show with body humor. Because it's very physical, but it's got a lot of stuff that you got to be careful with.
Yes, and like the married wives are usually the ones dishing the body, the BAWDY. You all get the body BODY humor.
Yes, exactly. Which one of my favorite parts about the show is it's not focused on like, the young lovers, and the lovers have to run away, and they have to run. Oh no, there's other lovers, and it's like, no, this is a show about the two older married women playing a joke on that other older guy who they just don't like.
Yeah, and their husband, because he's losing his mind.
Old man.
And I love it. I love it so much. It's great.
And no one's gonna run.
Yes.
No.
So often you forget that the lovers are like a plot in the show.
Yeah.
Or at least I do, and I'm a part of that plot.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is the lovers are Slender, an awkward little nervous guy who doesn't know how to talk to women. Dr. Caius, a very over-the-top French doctor who wants to fight just about everybody. And then it's like Fenton, who is the actual lover of the show.
It's very clear.
Very clear.
Yes, you'll know who to root for.
Yes, yeah. Well, I mean, you could root for Slender if you
or
wanted.
Caius if you wanted to.
Yeah. No, Slender's a great pick.
I think Caius is pretty strong. Well moneyed, they say.
And Slender, he doesn't have money, but he's a good kid. He's a good kid.
I have no other good qualities. I've got money.
So this play has a lot of parental overreach as well in our love story.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that is the same kind of Shakespearean parental overreach, where a parent or an uncle or somebody is saying, you're going to marry this person because this is the right person for you to marry. It doesn't matter what you think. And so you are my two of our suitors that are being the match made.
Mm-hmm.
With that as like the big kind of crux of the conflict, as actors who have probably heard a few times, or 20 or 100, that acting's a difficult profession to get into. There's a lot of risk. There's a big chance that you won't, it won't be a career, etc. How do you deal with that, those moments of overreach in your life? Because I think we've all had moments of overreach, whether it's parental or otherwise, where people have told us things, you shouldn't do this, you can't do this. What would you tell the aspiring actor out there about to do or not to do, to be or not to be?
I was told that today. Like, funnily enough, literally someone today was like, really? Oh, well, that's going to be a lot of fun. And I was like, They're like, okay, cool. I know what you mean.
Well, so like acting in general isn't just learning a character and becoming that character. one of the most important parts is knowing who you are and what your voice is, not your literal voice, but how you can convey what's inside of you. So the most important thing, if someone tells you that it's hard or that you suck or something, is just search on finding what's comfortable about yourself. And then in any character you play, you can kind of get into them and feel comfortable. And it doesn't really matter if someone thinks you suck.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Something I've been working off of for a few years now was whenever because everyone who's an actor usually gets told at some point, like, oh, that's fun for in high school and maybe middle school, and maybe you do some community programs. And then you tell them you're going to college for it, or if you're moving to New York or Chicago, they're like, really? Well, you know that's going to be rough. There's 100,000 people that look just like you, you know? But the biggest thing I always tell myself is, why not me? What about, why not me? Why couldn't it be me? It's like, maybe I do look exactly like someone, or I have the same haircut, or I have the same typecast when it comes to acting, but why can't I do it?
Yeah.
It's a thing that, oh, well, you're going to be just like everyone else. Well, how do you know that?
Yeah.
I haven't gone and done it yet, and you never know until then, and you still don't know even after you go. Every single person who wants to be an actor or is an actor is constantly living with we're looking for a role everywhere, constantly, all the time, trying to find something. But every time you go into that audition with the mindset of, well, I would do great in this role, and I know that I would, and I would be a great fit. And even if you weren't, you leave it. And I give myself 24 hours to, if it was a role I really wanted, I go, okay, I'll be sad. And then I let it go and I go, okay, now I prepare for the next one. Because if there's all these people here, millions of people in this city or wherever, the only person who has my name, my face, and how I act and my personality is myself. And I'm going to bring that no matter what.
And if you give up or don't try, like he was saying, why not me? If you give up and don't try, it won't be you.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you have to go in. And if you're going to give it a try, you might as well work on it and do the best that you can do, which is knowing, like he said, he's the only one that looks like this and sounds like this. Thank goodness. But, you find your voice and find what does make you different. If I walk in a room and there's a bunch of guys that look just like me, I have to know that Jimmy Pike is his own unique snowflake, and it might be exactly what's perfect for that role. It's not up to me to decide that. It's up to whoever. But if I go in, without the confidence of knowing that I could do it, then I'm not going to get it.
I remember my very first day of college for acting, which thank you. But it was with Lance. Mr. Falstaff himself, and he said in freshman actor workshop that the only person who can end your acting career is you, and that's just when you stop doing it. And I learned that you have to look for theater everywhere. When you're in high school and younger, it's so easy to get trapped in like, oh, I listen to Broadway musicals and get so fixated on the big playhouses. Yeah. But there's theater literally. I mean, we are in Oklahoma at a Shakespeare company. Yeah. This is the kind of theater that's happening everywhere. And so for the person who doesn't ever make it to Broadway, but there's thousands of theaters all across the country just like this that are willing to work with anyone who just wants to try. And so that was I started thinking that way. I'll just go anywhere that has theater. I'll be in the middle of nowhere, North Dakota. But if there's theater, there's theater. And the only one who can stop me from being in theater is myself.
You could start the Fargo Shakespeare Festival.
Yes!
I will. Me playing all the roles.
Yeah. I'll come up next summer and help you out.
I'll do all the interviews.
Yeah, that's good.
We got 3 people.
Yeah, right here.
Fargo,
this
here
is the
we
cast.
From Fargo.
Yes.
In Fargo, not from Fargo.
No, we're there.
We're production from Fargo.
Oh, we're producing film.
Yeah,
fair enough.
yeah.
All right. So, I mean, that was, I think each of you gave us exactly what somebody needs to hear. Whether they're going into acting or, really, I feel like it applies to so much.
Yeah.
I feel like people are we want certainty, and we're so scared to take the shot. But I've gotten to see all of you act, and I'm so glad that you all took the shot and are still taking the shot, because it's always so much fun to watch all of you on the stage and seeing you in different roles. Because there are times where we'll be sitting there and we're going, wasn't that Lysander in Midsummer? And we're going, yeah, I think, isn't it? Right? And we're like questioning each other. And so, like, for us, it's just so much fun because you personify these different characters and you just bring them to life. Anyway, I'm gonna stop spieling, but I love it, and I'm so grateful that you all came to chat with me and chat about Merry Wives. It was such a fun conversation. And do you have any final words about Merry Wives before I do the spiel about dates and such?
Leave your pribbles and prables. That's it.
Okay.
That's all I have to add.
Anyone can see this show. If you've never seen Shakespeare, do not be afraid. It is going to be fun. It's not 3 hours, so you don't, it's not too long. Bring your own seating. It is general admission on the lawn, and
you can bring your dinner.
Bring your dinner. Bring a
dinner.
picnic. But don't be afraid of this show. I mean, don't be afraid of Shakespeare, but this show specifically, anyone can see it. Anyone's going to understand it, and you need to come to the show ready to play.
Yeah.
Because we will be talking to you, and don't be shy. We will answer pretty much anything. We do have lines to say.
Don't wear don't wear your church shoes.
Yeah.
Wear your play clothes.
Exactly. Just so it's going to be a fun time. Come out.
That's what I was gonna say. Please interact. Any laugh is fine, but I need you to interact when I try to talk.
I just want any laugh this weekend.
I'll chase your eyesight.
If you're not looking at no, look at me.
I'll get off the stage. I'm more than happy to.
So the play opens June 5th. That is going to be opening night, and it runs 2 weeks, so it closes
20th and 21st.
Okay,
Which are special shows. Those are out at Oak, OKC.
Yeah, so it closes at OSP the weekend before that.
Correct.
But the 20th and 21st,
Yes.
there are additional performances.
I'll just show up where they tell me.
Yeah, I never know when it
and-
is.
I trust Lucas.
Yeah.
He's probably
And
right.
those are actually free admission shows at Oak OKC. They have an outdoor area. It's really nice. Bring chairs if you want to sit. But those are free shows. You just have to show up. And if you go on their website, oakokc.com, there's actually a button to reserve a spot, quote unquote, because you can just show up and you'll be okay. But those are free admission. Please show up. They're doing a picnic contest.
Ooh.
And so if you want to bring a picnic and try to win some gift cards that they're doing, it's a good idea. So please come out then. If you're like, I don't want to pay to see Shakespeare.
No.
What if I don't like it? Oak OKC. That's going to help out.
You
work
can also,
for Oak?
yeah, you can get over that. If you want to pay for Shakespeare, come pay for
Yeah,
it.
come pay, please. Come pay.
So I've been doing this spiel to everyone who comes to the coffee shop I work at. I've been telling them every show.
Sell them a season ticket.
We've got an upper level,
Right?
here. No upper level at Oak.
Yes. So please do come. And if you can afford the tickets, please do get some tickets, because it is what allows these actors and directors and costume designers and set designers, etc., to keep doing this, to keep doing what they're doing, and to keep the doors open and the lights on, which are very important. But on the free, don't forget, we do have Never Younger tickets, which are for the younger crowd, thus the Never Younger. And so you can put that code in, and get a free ticket for any of the younger crew in your lives. All right.
Like
There
Jimmy.
are 18 tickets on the outside shows, so there's a lot of them. So get them while they last. There also is a raffle, and we will be raffling for anybody who is new to our Shakespeare Garden, and they talk so much to the grass. That's why it's so beautiful out there, is because they've been spending so much time talking to
That's
the,
right.
to the flowers and the
Sweeten it
grass.
up.
Talk to your plants. Love
Talk to your plants.
as important as water.
So if you're new to our Shakespeare Gardens, they're beautiful. Come see them, but you also get a raffle ticket to the next show. So each night, each show, we're going to be pulling a raffle ticket. You can also buy your raffle tickets, which again, please and thank you. But if you just brought a friend, their first time there, they will get a raffle ticket to get tickets to Love Labor's Lost, which is our next production this summer.
It'll be fun.
Jimmy's
It'll be
in
good.
that too.
Should we get-
So yeah,
Oh, so there
you want to see us again?
I'm leaving, but it's okay.
So if you didn't like Lucas, Love Labors is the show you should see.
This is now a Love's Labor's pod. Lucas, you can leave.
Thanks, guys. Thanks so much for your time.
All right, everybody. So hopefully we will see you there. If you have any questions, please let us know. If you have any thoughts or you want to hear about anything else, let us know. Ask us some questions. We'll give you some answers.
If you have $1 million you want to donate,
Yeah.
let us
Yes.
know.
We would love that.
We are
Yes.
we are
I have
fighting.
Venmo.
We are fighting the good fight at OSP. Things are happening in the world.
Yeah, death to tyrants.
UBB.
It's not Hamlet.
We're leaving that in? We're leaving that in?
You're on the board. You can do whatever you want.
So help us with our fight against tacos. And
Tacos at every show.
and help us keep OSP going, help us keep these dreams alive, and help us keep OSP as a chance for the next generation and the generation after that. So please and thank you, and just remember, all the world's a stage, and you too can be a shrew.
Shakespeare shrew.
True.
Adieu.
Adieu, shrew.
Adieu.
Thanks, Mom.
Adieu, shrew.